welcome to Junk Journal July Embellishments, day number 17. Today I want to make some rustic flowers, and what's funny was I was set up to do this for next week, but a lady posted on one of my videos that she still makes these because I made these a long time ago, and I thought, well, might as well just do them today then instead. So I've got some scraps of book papers, varying sort of text sizes. Now previously I did them with a whole page, just because it was easier to show you how to rip it up. So if you've got a whole page, you need two. So the first page you're going to rip it in to thirds. So we are going to make circles from squares. Put you to the side, rip the white bit off because we don't want that. Now whatever sort of width this is, that's the kind of depth that we want to give us our square, and they can be fairly rustic in their ripping. There we go. And then we want some smaller squares, so let me just use up some of this. Right, and we want much smaller strips. So whereas I took the width of that text block, I'm now ripping that in half. So it's half the width. Ripping off that bottom bit. Doing a quick, technical measure. There we go. We'll do those three for now. So once we've got our two squares, we're then going to rip off the corners, and we're going to rip them off at a slight angle. So that you start to form a circular shape. Now it doesn't matter if they're all higgledy-piggledy. So long as you've got roughly a circle shape. And we'll do the same with the small one. Just rip it off at a slight angle, and not, we're not going straight across, we're curving it round. And this is the sort of thing that you can definitely do in front of the TV, so that we end up with two squircles. Now, as I've said before, I'm not sat at my normal craft desk, so I'm doing a bit of makeshift and mend. I've just put a bit of plastic down, and this is going to make the camera shake a little. But normally we do inking by going round in small circular motion. This time we're just going to keep coming in and out and in and out. And if you do that and your fingers are over here, your paper's just going to fold and maybe even rip. So keep your fingers close to the centre and just very slowly, and I do apologise about the camera rocking, and just keep coming in and out and in and out. And what you'll find, if I bring it up close so you can see, is you get a little bit of colour on the paper itself, but the very edge of the paper turns out a little bit darker. Now I'm using walnut stain, but you can use whatever colour you wish, really. So I'll just ink up this little one a little bit. And as you can see, look, I'm keeping my fingers in the centre as I spin it round. So once you've got your two circles, if you think that your paper's a little bit on the delicate side, you can flip your bigger one over and either use masking tape or washi tape, but I like using my micropore. And I'm just going to put a little bit of micropore on the back to support the paper, because I'm going to be stitching through it. And then flip it back over, put the small one on top of the big one, and put your button in the centre. You're then going to poke from the front through to the back your thread, and you want a nice thick cotton thread. And to make it easier, if you poke a hole from the front through to the back through the second hole, it makes it easier to identify that second hole. Unless you're like me and I can't see that far away, so I have to bring it a bit nearer to me. And then I'm going to stitch through that button again. So I've stitched over the top of those two holes once, and now I'm going to stitch through them a second time and bring the needle back through from the back through to the front. Then I'm going to form a loop with my thread and pop the needle through the thread twice. And just knot it in place, and then trim off some of the excess thread, but leave some bits hanging, or you can tie them in a pretty little bow. But it just gives you a little bit of a flat rustic flower, because we don't always want dimension in our journals. So here's some that I made earlier with some other scraps of paper, and I used some leftover printed scraps. Here's some of the book page ones that I've done, and these I did with bows. And I've also got some hand-dyed book pages, so I've already cut out and inked up some different size circles from those, so that these can be made available ready for my autumn journal. As I said, they're quite quick and easy to make. You just need a selection of buttons, a selection of papers, whether they be leftover printable papers, book pages as they are, or even dyed book pages as I've got here. But they make quite a pretty little flower, really, a little bit on the rustic side. There's no reason why you can't do 3 layers. So you just need to make sure that your third layer, if you're doing it smaller, is bigger than your button. But that's it. Really nice, quick, simple one today. Okay, thanks for joining me again today. I hope it's inspired you to have a little go at doing some rustic flowers yourself, and I'll see you all in tomorrow's video. Bye for now. Bye.